Welcome!
Welcome to the Omniverse of Nick, and the finale to the two-parter, What If Bonyu Rejoined the Ginyu Force? Before we get started, be sure to check out the Omniverse's homepage, where our channel mascot Omni will direct you to the Discord, both Google Docs, and everything the Omniverse has to offer, along with smashing the like button, subscribing to the Omniverse of Nick, sharing the Omniverse around, and turning on all Omniversal notifications, along with commenting future requests and expectations in the comment section. With all that said, let's begin. We open up with the Bonyu Force arriving on planet Namek to help Frieza reclaim the Dragon Balls. Bonyu and Frieza face each other after years of not meeting since Bonyu was kicked out of the Ginyu Force, and Bonyu explains everything that happened before they arrived on Namek, and why there was a little bit of a delay. Frieza, he actually smiles at this, because now that Ginyu's out of the way, Frieza always felt the poses redundant, but he took more toleration to it than Bonyu. Honestly, never faulted her for it. Honestly, with those poses out of the way, he likes this new Bonyu Force, because now his force is even more stronger. And with the new updated Scouters, he detects all the powers, specifically that Bonyu's very close to him, which does throw him off. But Bonyu, like Ginyu, can also suppress her power. And honestly, he just wants the new Bonyu Force to take care of Vegeta and the other pests. So, he says that now Ginyu and the poses are out of the way, nothing should halt their progress or demean them from getting back his Dragon Balls, and tells the Bonyu Force to move out. And they do with rapid succession. Then they get to the area where Vegeta, Krillin, and Gohan are. They have all the Dragon Balls in their possession, but they can't get the dragon out. So even a few days off, they still can't get the freaking dragon out because they don't know the password. Then Vegeta notices something with the Force. Everybody's here, but this girl, she looks almost exactly like Jace, is in front of everyone like she's the leader, and there's no Ginyu. And then Vegeta, he connects the dots. Ginyu must have been killed. And this actually makes him smile devilishly. But he does demand to know, what is the Ginyu Force without Ginyu? Or did he decide that instead of him leading, best left to Jace over there to decide a new member? And he decided to go on a little vacation polishing Frieza's boots. Bonyu says there's no need to worry about Ginyu anymore, or his little friends of the Dragon Balls. They'll be joining Captain Ginyu soon, thanks to them and Lord Frieza. Krillin and Gohan try to fight and power up, but they are both dealt with in rapid succession, and they are slaughtered. Vegeta and then powers up. But this is no ordinary Vegeta power-up where he powered up past 30,000. He is powering up even more so, especially considering the fact he's by himself this time. And he now wants to take advantage, because now that he knows the Ginyu Force is even stronger, either that or the Earthlings really are that weak, and just the uneasy feeling of Bonyu, it's actually forcing him to be even more desperate and angry. So, this is no ordinary Vegeta power-up. This is a desperate and furious power-up. So when Jace detects his power, it's not over 30,000, and it's not over 40. It's getting past 50. And within one swift, speedy rush, Vegeta decapitates Guldo without Guldo even doing a dang thing. Then he tries to rush at Recoome, but Recoome catches him and prepares to pile drive him into the ground. But Vegeta uses a final crash right as he is hanging from Raccoon. So basically how he blasted him in the face before, except a final crash in the face. But Raccoon, he just is not even phased. He doesn't even get blown back like he did in canon. Because Raccoon is way stronger than canon. And this was just a desperate power-up by Vegeta. Not his actual power level, because he's exactly the same. So, Raccoon's even less injured than canon, and he's also way stronger. So, he barely felt this, just like before. Whatever part of him felt it in canon, Vegeta's attack, he didn't get the few lucky strikes before the final crash, and he just pulled that move off. So, yeah, Raccoon is way less affected. And with a single Raccoon knee or kick, or whatever you want to call it, Vegeta is knocked to the ground, almost dead. And he is dragged back to Frieza by the Bonyu Force. Frieza is very impressed by Vegeta's resilience and the fact he was able to at least take out one of the members. He always knew that even with those silly little time techniques, that Guldo would be the first to die. But he didn't expect it to be Vegeta, of all people, even if he knew about their rivalry back on one of his older planets. But if there was anyone to kill Guldo, who better to be than one of his other old subordinates? And he's also glad those two pests are out of his way. And he thanks and rewards the Bonyu Force with their efforts of collecting the Dragon Balls and bringing Vegeta to them. It was even quicker than he thought, and it's probably down to the fact that Ginyu wasn't there. And now Frieza says, now that I have no further need of you, or that you have anything of value to offer me because of your insubordination, and now that you've politely handed the Dragon Balls to your superior lord, you can join the rest of your Saiyan brethren and your planet in the afterlife. And with that, Frieza just death beams Vegeta straight through the heart. And now Frieza has his hands on all 7 Dragon Balls. And he attempts to summon the dragon, but is quickly infuriated whenever it's known that you need a Namekian to make him work. So Frieza, he's going to go to Guru's place. And while that's going on, Bonyu, Birder, Jace, and Raccoon guard the ship with the rest of the Frieza soldiers, just because. They don't really need to guard it from anybody. But little do they know, there's still one thing they didn't account for or deal with. Goku arrives on Namek after his 100 times gravity training and arrives to save Krillin, Gohan, and Bulma and, yada yada, the same old story. But when he gets there, and he gets out of the ship, he can't sense Krillin, and he can't sense Gohan. And what's even weirder, he can't even sense Vegeta, but he can sense all these bad powers, and they're huge, all over the place, one moving far away towards a cluster of small other signatures, and 4 with a bunch of other smaller powers in one big area. But then he senses something else. It's a smaller power by itself, and he recognizes it. It's Bulma! But where are Krillin and Gohan? And what's even weirder, he can't sense Vegeta. Then he decides there's only one way to find out what's really going on here. He's got to go to Bulma and see what's been going on. So he powers to Kaioken in rapid succession and flies as fast as he can. And he gets to Bulma, and he starts talking to her, and Bulma's really happy to see Goku. But then Goku starts asking about Krillin and Gohan, and if they encountered Vegeta, what's been going on here? And Bulma says she hasn't seen Krillin and Gohan. They've been gone for quite a long time after they took a Dragon Ball, and they were with Vegeta. So they must have been teaming up. And this surprises Goku. But then, why can't he sense him? And this worries him very, very much. Then Bulma gets the Dragon Radar, because remember, she still has that. And she gets it, and all the Dragon Balls are by where Goku sensed all those big powers. But then, Why is that one power that's even huger than the rest going towards that area? Goku knows that the only way to determine what's been really going on here is to face those four big powers before the one bigger one gets back to help them. He has to guess that that's Frieza. So he'll take care of whoever these other big powers are. If Vegeta's with them, he'll deal with it. He'll make sure to bring back Krillin and Gohan safe. They will resurrect their friends. It's time to see if that 100 times gravity training paid off. So he gets to the ship and sees Bonyu and the rest of the Bonyu force with the Frieza soldiers at the helm of it all. And Goku demands to know who these people are and what happened to Krillin and Gohan, his friends. And is Vegeta on their side? Where is he at? Where is this Frieza? Bonyu says there's no need for him to be worrying about Lord Frieza or Vegeta. As for their little friends, well, let's just say that they got in the way of Lord Frieza and her Bonyu force. So they were dealt with in a manner only the Bonyu force and the Frieza force could deal with. Death. And Recoome laughs at this and barks at Goku, saying, "Yep, Vegeta joined the little boy and the bald one too. Now you'll be joining them together." But this was the wrong thing to say. And Gohan's death with Krillin's, this sparked something way earlier, way fiercer, and much more serious than Frieza could ever do. Goku, after hearing this, flares his aura furiously, instantly after Recoome says this. And the amount of thunder, lightning, fury, anger, and aura flaring around the entire area actually begins to crumble the ship down into the land itself, almost into the water. Goku furiously says with gritted, angry teeth, "All of you will suffer for this." Jace, Burter, and Recoome all look at their scouters. This guy's power is going from 90,000 way past 100, 200, going past Captain Bonyu's? And even Bonyu takes concern at this. And all of them look in just complete shock. And, like, they can't believe what's going on. This can't be what they think it is. And Goku flares up his aura more and roars to the high heavens in a furious scream. And he transforms into a Super Saiyan. And within a flick of a few seconds, powers an energy beam and incinerates Recoome and Burter. Jace tries to use a Crusher Volcano, which is a new attained move he attained through Bonyu's training. But Goku, with a singular Ki Blast, incinerates Jace on contact. Then, Super Saiyan Goku fights Bonyu, with her full power crushing past 500,000. But with Goku's power going past the 2 million range with the Super Saiyan, it's not even a contest. Bonyu tries an ultimate flaring gigantic Super Crusher Ball, but it's still not enough. Not even close to 1 million. So, Super Saiyan Goku flares a furious Dragon Punch, sending Bonyu flying, and he fires a Super Kamehameha, just completely evaporating her. Then, Frieza, still on his way to Guru's, hasn't even made it halfway there yet, when he detects on his scouter a huge power level just completely evaporated the Ginyu force. And that means it's by the Dragon Balls. It can't be Vegeta or those brats. And if it were one of the Nameks, he would know. And now Frieza knows. Someone just made the biggest mistake of their life. And they're not going to live to regret it. And now Guru, Nail, and Dende have sensed this presence. And Guru says to Dende, it's the savior that they've been looking for. The one who the Earthlings and that Vegeta guy were talking about. Dende must go there quickly and tell him the password. It's the last chance they have. And this guy is definitely the one who will take down Frieza once and for all. So Frieza gets back to the ship, and him and Goku square off. But Goku is furious and blinded by rage, turns Super Saiyan instantly, knows that this is Frieza, the cause of his son's death, his friend's death, and now him and Bulma are the only ones left to get the Dragon Balls and have a chance to resurrect their friends. Goku is even more furious than Canon Goku could ever be. And with one furiously gigantic angry Kamehameha, he fires it within seconds at Frieza. Frieza barely has a chance to go into his second form and use a full power punishing blaster before he is buried and completely wiped out within the entire portion of part of planet Namek. So he has absolutely no chance to even block this. And he's wiped out. Dende makes his way to Goku and says there's still a chance that they can resurrect his friends. So Porunga is summoned after Dende says the password. Kami and Piccolo are resurrected first, and then Tien and Chiaotzu for separate wishes. And then Kami and Popo use their Dragon Balls to summon Shenron and wish everybody else back. And it brings Krillin and Gohan back, who are completely blown away at the fact that they were killed and everything that they hear happened. And with Bulma at the helm, everything seems to be coming up. Like, Frieza's dead, all the other men are dead. Like, they did it! So Goku gathers Krillin, Gohan, and Bulma, and they get into the ship and prepare to go home to see everybody else that was resurrected and, go back to peace. But Vegeta was resurrected too, and he sits at Namek all alone. He's like, Namek wasn't destroyed, so that leaves the Namekians on this Namek. But no one knows that Vegeta is still there until someone comes to greet him. King Cold finds Vegeta after knowing about his son's death and says, "Today is your lucky day, Saiyan, and also your worst day." Vegeta is put into the medical chamber and kept there after torture by King Cold. And another reason why this was is because Frieza survived. But he wasn't fully cut into pieces and incinerated like Canon. So this means that we don't get Mega Frieza, but second form Frieza resurfaces himself and demands his father go so that they might get revenge on the Super Saiyan. And Vegeta, he'll have front row seats once again before he kills him to see the Super Saiyan he tried so hard to be fail along with the rest of this universe, as Frieza remains on top. So the story ends, but can go multiple ways from here. Kind of abrupt, I know, but honestly, the story was more or less just to show the Ginyu Force's point of view and then explain shortly what happens after. So what does happen after? After Goku essentially kills Frieza, but he survives, and then Vegeta becomes a slave again to King Cold and Frieza, who didn't even transform fully. What happens now? Well, there is no planet Yardrat. Piccolo does not fuse with Nail. Guru still gives his place over to Mori after the Mechians are brought back to life. And Vegeta remains a villain, essentially, even if by chance, which I'm about to explain, I'll get back to him. But besides all what I just mentioned, this could go one of two ways. Number one, Frieza goes to Earth with King Cold, and they utterly dominate Goku and everybody because Goku is a much weaker Super Saiyan, and he didn't get the full-on Zenkai. And then Frieza and King Cold essentially just rule the universe. Number 2, Trunks does miraculously show up because of time distortion and whatnot, and helps, but honestly, I'm thinking with a much stronger, different Frieza, the fact that Vegeta would be a slave to King Cold and Frieza, and the fact that, really, in this situation, even if it's a different timeline, even Trunks was worried about himself not being born. So, for all intents and purposes, I'm going with the fact that Frieza and King Cold would either completely win in the end, or Goku and everybody else would miraculously be able to pull off the win if Goku further trained with the Super Saiyan before Frieza and King Cold came to Earth. Now, let's just say, for the record, we're going with that option. And Goku and everybody does pull off the win miraculously, but they have a lot of damage to restore with the Dragon Balls again. And they need help from the Namekians again. Nothing would be able to stop what happens next. If we're really going with the whole Trunks not being born thing and Vegeta never turning good, that means that Goku dies from the heart illness, and this basically stirs the future timeline having a different continuity, and then Trunks going back in time. This literally makes the future timeline have another way of starting, essentially. So, in other words, Bonyu rejoining the Ginyu Force means that it takes another direction into what would become the future timeline. Which doesn't mean that that's a bad thing. It just means that it's another direction. But honestly, it doesn't matter which ending you guys really want to spin it. It could be that one, if you guys prefer it that way. Or it could be the one where King Cold and Frieza just win, and Vegeta remains a slave to them forever. And that's the truly bad ending. Either way, they're both bad endings for this world. Because future timeline gets erased, Gohan, androids, all that. Yeah, both bad endings. And this one would shape into that. Or we could go with just Trunks still coming back in time, because this being another era, and then if he were able to do that and not get distracted by Vegeta being a slave, then honestly, this wouldn't really change too much, in my opinion. Yes, Piccolo would be weaker without Nail, and Vegeta would most likely take a while longer to become a good guy, but honestly, if you take that away, and you take away Goku not going to Yardrat and being kind of nerfed, either they would die by the Cell arc because Goku doesn't know instant transmission, and he can't get to Piccolo and Tien in time, or nothing changes at all, and that's just the way it goes. Or he would maybe end up at Yardrat. Either way, it would either end up like canon, have small diversions, and still be like canon, or have both of the dark endings, or, one of the two. Either way, the main focus of this was showing how it affected Bonyu and the Ginyu Force. But by the time you get to Namek, you realize that they done effed up. Goku becoming a Super Saiyan and then eventually going to kill Frieza in this much earlier iteration, not caring about Frieza transforming, would either really help or really hurt. Either way, no instant transmission and no truly high advantage in power would prove that even if it was canon, it wouldn't matter. That's essential. But all those endings are just multitudes of what could have happened in this iteration. Any one of them works. There's no direct or true send-off for this tale. This was just a way to show another direction of Bonyu and the Ginyu Force and bring Bonyu in to our Omniverse. But the true ending is up to you guys, the viewers. With all that said, stay tuned for the fourth and second to last episode for the Walking Dead Carsverse as we get towards the end of that era and the true entrance into the ongoing Omniverse of Nick. Stay tuned, hyped and packed for the future.
Now get out! What? Get out! Everybody get out!